Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah, welcome back.
Today we are on lesson 47 from A Course in Miracles.
Yes, we are.
This one is called God is the Strength in Which I Trust. And it's a pretty powerful idea.
It really is. And it follows on really well from what we were talking about yesterday.
Right, with that whole choosing love over fear thing.
Exactly.
So how does this idea of God being our strength actually play out? I mean, how is that even possible?
Well, it's a huge shift in perspective, right? Because so much of our lives we're taught to rely on ourselves.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like be independent, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, all that jazz.
Exactly. And those messages can be really helpful in some ways, but they can also lead to this feeling that we have to do everything on our own strength.
And that could be exhausting.
Totally.
I mean, I know for me, I feel like I'm constantly running on fumes trying to make everything happen.
Yeah, I think we've all been there. And that's what A Course in Miracles calls ego-driven strength.
Ego-driven strength.
Yeah, it's that feeling of needing to control everything, to be in charge all the time.
And it doesn't really work, does it?
No, it doesn't. In fact, it usually just makes us feel more stressed and anxious.
Right. It's like the more we try to control things, the more out of control we feel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this idea of God being our strength is about letting go of that need for control.
Okay, so if I'm understanding this correctly, we're not actually supposed to just give up and do nothing.
No, not at all. It's not about being passive. It's about recognizing that there's a power greater than ourselves that we can tap into.
Okay, so it's more like surrendering the reins a bit.
Yeah, exactly. It's about trusting that there's something bigger than us that's got our back.
And how do we actually do that? Like, how do we actually start trusting in God's strength?
Well, the lesson gives us some really practical suggestions. One of them is to start each day with the affirmation, God is the strength in which I trust.
Okay, so we're literally just saying those words out loud.
You can say them out loud, or you can just think them to yourself. But the important thing is to really let those words sink in.
So it's kind of like setting an intention for the day.
Exactly. And as you go through your day, you can keep coming back to that affirmation whenever you start to feel stressed or overwhelmed.
So like if I'm having a tough time at work and I'm feeling all this pressure, I can just stop and remember that God is my strength.
Exactly. It's a way to shift your perspective from fear to trust, from feeling alone to feeling supported.
That's pretty cool. And I'm guessing that's where the exercises come in.
You got it.
Because the lesson does mention some exercises, right?
It does. There's a meditation exercise and a journaling exercise.
Oh, I'd love to try the meditation one.
Yeah, me too.
If that's okay with you.
Absolutely. Let's do it. So everyone listening, if you're up for it, find a comfortable position and close your eyes.
Okay, eyes closed.
Now bring to mind something that's been weighing on you, something that's causing you stress or anxiety.
I got that.
Now picture that worry as a physical object. It could be a heavy stone or a tangled knot or anything that feels right to you.
Okay, I've got my object.
Now imagine yourself gently releasing that object, handing it over to a higher power. It could be God or the universe or whatever feels right to you.
I'm handing it over.
And as you release that object, feel the weight lifting, feel the tension easing. Just allow yourself to rest in that feeling of peace and surrender.
Wow, that was really powerful.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing how much lighter we can feel when we let go of our worries and trust that something bigger than us is taking care of things.
For sure. And the journaling exercise sounds interesting too. What is that all about?
So in this exercise, the lesson asks us to reflect on a time when we felt empowered by something beyond ourselves.
Okay, so like a time when we faced a challenge and we felt like we had some kind of divine help.
Exactly. It could be a time when you felt guided or protected or just inexplicably supported.
Yeah, I think I can think of a few times like that.
Me too. And the lesson asks us to really think about those experiences and to try to remember how we felt in those moments.
Because sometimes it's easy to forget that we're not alone in this journey.
It is. And it's so important to remember that there's always help available to us if we just open ourselves up to it.
Absolutely. Which brings us to the reflection question for this lesson. In what areas of your life do you find it challenging to trust in God's strength? And how can you shift your perspective to rely more on divine support?
That's a big one.
It is. It's something for all of us to really think about.
Yeah, because it's easy to say that we trust in God, but it's another thing to actually live that trust.
Right. Like when things get tough, it's easy to fall back in that old habit of trying to control everything ourselves.
Totally. But the more we can practice surrendering to a higher power, the more peace and joy we'll experience in our lives.
And isn't that what we all want, ultimately?
I think so.
So to wrap things up, I think the key takeaway from this lesson is that true strength doesn't come from our own limited selves, but from something much greater.
Yeah, it's about letting go of the need to control everything and trusting that there's a power greater than ourselves that's guiding and supporting us every step of the way.
Beautifully said. Well, thank you so much for joining us for another deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
We hope this lesson has given you some food for thought and maybe even inspired you to tap into your own inner strength.
And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into A Course in Miracles.
We'll see you tomorrow.
See ya.